The most rural place I've ever been. Well, the most rural place that I've ever been in my entire life would probably be Mompox, Colombia. That was quite a trip. My brother and I went to Colombia to visit for. I worked for U.S. Airways, so I got really cheap flights, and we decided to go to Colombia for a winter break. We spent a month over there, and while we were over there, they had a national disaster, which was huge. A lot of the locals said that it was worse than our Hurricane Katrina for them because their country's a lot smaller and the infrastructure is not as good. And tons of mudslides, floods everywhere. And so we decided to backpack the country, and we spent a month going place to place, but instead of being able to take bus rides like we thought we had to fly most of the places. So we flew into Cartagena, spent a night in Cartagena. It was too hot, and we just decided that we wanted to go check out somewhere rural. So I don't even know how we found this place. I think we were looking on a Lonely Planet book, and they had mentioned something about it, but so I figured people probably go there, Like, it can't be that off the beaten path in Colombia. So the Lonely Planet book tells us how to get there. We get on this bus that was supposed to only be like 2 hours or something. It ends up being like 4.5 hours, 5 hours, and there's just like nowhere to get off. So we just stayed on there, and all of a sudden I'm sleeping. My brother wakes me up and says, "Man, Preston, we gotta get off this bus." The bus driver is telling us to get off. So we get off the bus, and I just get off because I just wake up, I think this I stop, and it's just a junction where like there's like 2 roads cross, and it's just like there is nothing there. There's maybe like a little store or something, and that's it. And I was like, what the fuck? Where are we? We're not in the area. I had no idea where we were. I mean, we were just going for like 5 hours through jungles and stuff, down from Cartagena, and we get off, and we don't know what to do. So I start talking to this guy, which he looked so sketchy, but he was like the only guy there, and he was waiting around with backpacks. He had a backpack like we did, traveling backpack. So I thought he's probably our only guy. So I talked to him in my rusty Spanish as much as I can, and I tell my brother, like, I guess this guy is going to help us. So I didn't want to trust him, but we had no other choice, really. So he tells us we're going to get on this van, and we get on this van, and it's like a regular-sized van with, I swear there must have been at least 12 people in the back before we even got on. And so my brother and I are like standing, like kneeling over this like old lady who doesn't have a seat, and we're like, how far could it be? And it ends up being, we're on that van for like an hour and a half before we even get to another town. We get off, and this van is like crazy, like going around traffic. It's a 2-lane, double-line road. Well, no line, really. Just freaking passing people. Oh my God, how are we gonna die? We get there, and the guy we were with says we need to get on motorcycles, and that wasn't so uncommon. I mean, every once in a while you'll get on a motorcycle taxi and he'll take you. It's not preferred, especially when you're with multiple people, but we figured that was the only way to do it. And there was something in the Lonely Planet book that mentioned motorcycle taxis, so we thought, whatever. We get on, and as soon as we get on, the motorcycles, all 3 of them just split up, and I'm like, oh my God. Like, back then it wasn't as easy. Like, I didn't have a cell phone that worked in Colombia, and I'm thinking, God, the only way I'm ever going to find my brother is find out where I'm at, somehow find an internet cafe or something, and Facebook him. This is going to take a day maybe to find him, 2 days. And so we're driving around for like half an hour. I'm on the back of this this motorcycle with my backpacks and everything on the back, and I'm just holding on as he pulls into like gas station after gas station, and he never got gas. He's just talking to locals, talking, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? I'm starting to get kind of scared, I was getting nervous. All of a sudden, we pull up, and it's my brother and this guy again, and we had met up, but this time the guy doesn't have his backpack. So, for whatever reason, this traveling guy that says he's traveling to the same spot doesn't have his backpack or anything on anymore, and I'm like, what is going on? My brother and I look at each other just like freaked out, like, what is going on? We're driving on the back of these motorcycles together now, and all of a sudden, whether we like it or not, we are going through a freaking military checkpoint. Like, we are going into a military base, and I am like, what in the fuck is going on? I look at Brandon, and we are so freaked out. I legitimately thought we were being kidnapped. I thought, well, this is it. Like, we're already past the guards. We're in the base. I'm kidnapped. There's nothing I can do. I started thinking about, okay, what am I going to tell them? Like, I'm going over the being kidnapped in my mind, like what I'm going to do. And I'm freaking scared. I don't even know what's going on. And there's like kids playing with machetes, and like there's machine guns and stuff, and I'm just like, what is going on? It's a dirt road. Like, there's just a dirt road with a bunch of military tents and stuff, and the motorcycles go around, like go through, and then it's a big square. Go out, come back out, and I'm just thinking like, oh my god, what the hell? All of a sudden, we go through the gates again, and we're back outside of the military base, and I'm thinking, oh my god, what is going on? I don't know, to this day, I still don't know if he wanted to just, maybe he was just being friendly and just wanted to show us the military compound, or his country, or see that they are friendly. I don't know, but it scared the hell out of me, and I looked at my brother, and we were both, you could tell we were like, we were not okay with this. But what are you gonna do, And so, then we go and we stop we pull up into a dock, and it's like a market where there's a bunch of people selling stuff along the river, and it is the most chaotic place you could ever be. I mean, hundreds of people just everywhere, and it's scary because it's like they all know each other, but they're all working, and the guy tries to get us on a boat, and that is when I was like, no way, we're not getting on a boat. Like, Brad and I looked at each other, and we're like, we're going to go to the ATM, and he's trying to stop us from leaving, like, talking to us, and we said, okay, we'll be right back, we're going to go get the money, and we'll be right back, and we just booked it, and Brandon and I are just thinking, like, we looked at each other, we're like, do you want to go back to Cartajena, or do you want to try to figure this out? But I am so, like, what are we doing? We were going to get killed or something, or lost, or whatever, I don't know, it was just sketchy, and, finally, we go back to the other side of the pier, and there's some boats, because in the Lonely Planet book it mentioned boats, but the Lonely Planet book said this whole excursion was only supposed to be like 4.5 hours away. It wasn't far, and so we'd already, like, the sun was setting, and we left that morning. Like, it had already been like clearly over 11 hours, 12 hours of traveling. We didn't know where we're at in Colombia. We didn't know, I mean, I spoke Spanish, but not very well. No one spoke English. So, finally we met some, like, tourists, but they were Colombian tourists coming. They were just, like, going on a trip or something, or visiting family or something. And I talked to them, and they said they were going to some village, and so we just, we got on the boat. It was like a little ponga, like, thing. Riverboat, weird, and it only had room for like 2 people up front and 2 people in the back, and then like maybe the driver and another guy. And so we get on that boat, and we go, and we're going through like a swamp, but because there was so much rain that like month, and the national disaster and everything just like all that rain, the swamp was just extremely flooded. So we're going over like bushes and stuff, and we have a prop. We have like an outboard prop, and I'm thinking like, dude, we are gonna get stuck. This guy is crazy. He's like, it's like 45 minutes. He's still like going almost in circles. Like he would go like around, but it didn't seem like there was any rhyme or reason where he was going because it wasn't in the same direction. And I honestly think he was just lost. Like he couldn't find the river because the water was so hot. So then finally he finds a river, and it's like straight up like it wasn't the Amazon River, but it looks like the Amazon River. It's just like a huge river, muddy and everything. And we go up that river, and we're stopping at like little local villages along the way, just dropping off like ice chests and like simple supplies. And I don't know what that was. We're dropping off like individual like supplies and like little villages and stuff. Finally, we get like after about 3 villages, we get up and we stop, and we get off, and there's all these motorcycle taxis, but they're not the same kind of motorcycle taxis. They're like motorcycles with like a chariot on the back. And so 2 people sit in the back, and the driver drives this like chariot thing, and we get on that, and we go for a few miles, and then all of a sudden we're in like this little village, town kind of thing, and oh my god, it's night. At this point, it's freaking dark, you know, and this little island that we're on in the swamp has freaking it's just dark. And we had to walk down this beach. We had no idea where we are. I mean, we're in the jungle, in a swamp. Like, eventually we find this little, like, it looks like a little cathedral. We talk to the guy, and he lets us stay there. It's a little hostel. And I wish I remember the name of that hostel. It was so awesome. This guy was just the nicest guy. He was, I think, English. And he left to go start a hostel there, and it was like the cook, which was his wife. She was like the cook and did all the cleaning and stuff, and then he just ran the hostel, and we stayed there for like a week on this little island in the swamp, like in the middle of nowhere, and it was oh my god, it was amazing. Like, just beautiful. The town itself only had about 1,000 people that lived in the entire town. An island in the swamp, and because of the rain, was so high that a lot of the streets and stuff were flooded. They had like 2x6s running across the street that you would just walk on, and then we basically. After that, we left and headed back. Way back was not as bad because we kind of knew more what we were doing, but I mean, it was a long trip. It took us like at least 11 hours to get back, if not more. And but that definitely was the most rural place I have ever been in my entire life. Most of those people, I think, were born in that village. I think they grew their entire lives and their families in that village, and probably never left, you know. It was absolutely amazing. All the food, most of the food was local, and everybody knew everybody. It was, I mean, we were the only Americans. We were the only Americans in the entire town. So there might have been a couple other travelers throughout the week that came through, but we were the only American ones, and it was just amazing. It was so awesome. And the people were just so friendly. They made us all this soup and stuff. And I'll never forget that. But that was definitely the most rural place I can imagine that I've been. So if you have a more rural place, or you have a story, definitely please make one, or comment on, leave it in the comment section. And if you want to subscribe, if you want to hear anything else, please just let me know. Alright, I hope you guys have a good night. Love you.